Okay, so here we are. The goal of this video is going to be to kind of present the matchup between the F-80 and the Mig-15, and my thoughts on that matchup and how those two aircraft interact with one another. On paper, the Mig-15 is obviously going to completely overpower the F-80, as it is faster, it has more thrust. It can work in the vertical a lot better than the F-80 can. Nonetheless, what I found is that the F-80 actually has a couple of tricks up its sleeve that does allow that aircraft to actually compete with the Mig-15 if you are smart about how you approach the matchup. So here we're just going to be looking at the replay that I recorded of one of my sorties. So we have two different engagements to look at in this sortie, and I have the labels on just to make it a little bit easier for people to see. We will notice that this Mig-15 has been stalking me for a little bit of time, but he's very difficult to see, and I just barely catch him in the rearview mirror. Not now immediately, but here in a little bit. So to really address like the idea behind like this matchup, the Mig-15 is not as competitive as it could be at a lower altitude. So that's one of the first things. The F-80, and I also believe that the F-84, don't quote me on that though because I don't know that airplane as well. The F-80 does quite well at low altitude. Oh, and here we go. This is I saw him in the rearview mirror, and I'm just going to brake. So we kill the airspeed, we kill the throttle, I should say, and then just give it a hard brake into the MiG. And then as he overshoots, I'm just going to give it another brake. Here, my wing does drop a little bit just because I'm pulling pretty hard. So that is a mistake on my end. But we're basically going to exploit our roll rate, as well as the fact that the F-80 is a little bit more comfortable at lower airspeeds than the MiG is. At least in my humble opinion. I could be wrong on that, but like it does feel pretty even. These lower airspeeds. So here the Mig-15 went vertical. Just going to keep an eye on him. We keep the nose pointed generally at the MiG, just like that. And I don't like taking head-on passes. There you go. So I don't try to set up for them. And here the MiG is coming right back down, so we're going to follow just a little bit here. Another thing that I'm not too familiar with is how well both aircraft rate with one another when it comes to like who can have the most degrees turn in a given time frame. So I'm not really going to comment on that. What I do notice is that I do get my nose on this guy, and we just send a couple of rounds this way. If the MiG maneuvers with you, in my opinion, they're making a mistake. And I think that this MiG actually does the completely correct decision of kind of leaving the fight. That's one of the things, like with the MiG versus the F-80, is that the F-80 really is at the mercy of the MiG's decision making. So if the MiG wants to continue the fight, the F-80 has little choice but to accept that. And then same thing, if the MiG wants to leave the fight, then the F-80 can't really pursue the MiG. So here, as we can see, he's kind of he's no longer aggressive. I'm not going to say he's defensive, but I'm going to say that he's no longer aggressive. So I am just going to turn away pretty much immediately, and I am going to start headed back towards my own bases. And one of the reasons for that quick decision is that we don't want to get third party. Okay, there have been quite a few MiGs in the area over the course of these sorties. I actually got shot down before this sortie. And you have to keep your situational awareness like pretty high. And getting third-partied is a reality of a prolonged fight, which is what you would be accepting in the scope of the F-80, right? Because again, the Mig-15 gets to decide when the fight does and does not happen. And the thing is, like, if you're low and arguably like not too fast, then you can make it quite difficult for the MiG to line up a shot properly. It's not like we have heat-seeking missiles like we do in other flight sims. here, if you want to kill someone, you have to get a proper gun solution on them. And it's quite difficult to get a gun solution on an aircraft that is aware of you. If you brake correctly, if you jink correctly, all those things like that, you can mess up the gun solution of the other aircraft. And then just to finish off this point here, the reason that I don't want too much airspeed, normally you don't want to be low and slow, but if you are at a lower airspeed, you will turn in a smaller radius, and you will pull less G than if you are at a faster airspeed. So again, the F-80 is pretty defensive when it comes to the MiG. You have to make yourself a pretty big problem for them to deal with, and you have to put yourself on a level playing field with the MiG. That's the idea behind fighting the F-80 versus the MiG, at least in my humble opinion. And again, from the MiG's perspective, because I do fly the MiG a good amount, I really dislike fighting the F-80 if they are aware of me. You can take the fight vertical, and I believe that the MiG is fairly competitive if you really know how to fight vertically and things like that. At the end, it should come down to who the better pilot is. Okay, and here we are again. So this is the second engagement. We're actually head-on, and this MiG does not see me. So here, I'm going to try to get on their 6 o'clock. Unfortunately, we do manage to do that. If we had a Fox 2 here, this would be a fantastic kill, but we don't have that. And like I said earlier, we're never going to catch up to this guy, so we're just going to tail him from afar. I did send a couple of rounds in his direction in case they wanted to maneuver, because if the MiG maneuvers, I feel pretty confident about the outcome of that situation. But the MiG did not see the rounds, and so they're just getting away. As you can see, it's a much, much faster airframe, so we're just going to kind of tag along and follow along. The F-80, in my opinion, it is an aircraft that genuinely appreciates situational awareness. So if you are taking engagements in areas where there are friendly aircraft, or if you are trying to third-party a MiG that is trying to shoot somebody down, which is exactly what's going to happen here. See, there's a contact to our 12 o'clock there. We don't know what that is. And then the MiG that we're tailing here is going for that contact. So the MiG might not know that you're there. And so being able to third-party a MiG that is maneuvering is one of the best ways to kill them. And it sounds silly to put it that way, but again, we don't have air-to-air missiles in these scenarios. So if the MiG wants kills, they need to come up with a gun solution. And if they try to get a gun solution, that gives you the window of opportunity to engage. So here we go. We're going to try third party. He's head-on with us right now. And I'm very lucky. I actually landed a couple of hits there. I don't know if it's visible in the footage, but I did see the puff of smoke when I was fighting this in real time. Now we're on a 6. So again, here the best thing that the MiG could do here is probably just firewall the throttle and try to extend. I don't know how well it accelerates. Instead, we have a little bit of maneuvering here, and we're able to just get on the 6. Oh. And get a couple of 50 cals onto the MiG. Very nice. And from here, I'm trying to get another pass in, but I'm unable to do that just because I don't know if the MiG's engine quit or what have you, but I think they're making a forced landing here. One thing to note is that the MiG has access to the G-suit, which is ahistorical, but you know, I don't mind it. And that I don't know whether or not the F-80 has access to the ooh, there he goes. I don't know that the F-80 has access to a G-suit. I think they do. And that is something that you can leverage as well. So there you go. First engagement. How to really disrupt the gun solution of the MiG and make it very difficult for them to kill you. And then the second engagement, how can I get that third party off and get a kill. I also had a sortie earlier today, which I third-partied a MiG that was chasing a Mustang, and I was in a Mustang myself, and I was able to get them. So they're not invincible. Like, the balance between these airframes in IL-2 Korea is actually not straightforward, but it's very interesting, and in my opinion, I think that there's actually a lot more to it than just like the pure speed and thrust to weight and stuff like that. So we're going to wrap this up and call it good.